Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Games. Today we're going to talk about tomorrow. Not like tomorrow the next day. Tomorrow, this guy. Tomorrow is he is 6 mana. You're not going to win with general damage for him, but you will pull off some crazy shenanigans. The most notable is you no longer draw cards. You are looking at cards, effectively you're topping instead of drawing. Now this is a replacement effect, and that does some really cool things. The most notably, the number one thing is Possess Portal. Now the Possess Portal just makes whenever a card would be drawn, it's skipped. However, your replacement effect trumps that, so and then everybody's got to get rid of something. Now, this doesn't apply to you if you have Tomorrow out, because instead of drawing, you are essentially topping. Now, this creates a, I'm going to call it a soft lock, but it's really not. Yeah, by the way, don't play this if you're trying to make friends. But with this in mind, this being the central piece, the central combo, that's what we're going to go around. That's what I built around. And of course, you've got to have the Fabricate to go get the Possess Portal. And if you don't have the Fabricate, you got to have the Merchant Scroll to go get the Fabricate. Just some other fun cards that work really well with Tomorrow, and especially if you've got the Possess Portal. We're going to leave the Possess Portal out here because there's a lot of these cards you have to keep the portal in mind, like Teferi's Puzzle Box. Essentially, this makes everybody get rid of their entire hand, because during their draw step, they put their hand on the bottom of their library, and then they can no longer draw cards. Fun times. Zur's Weirding, because this applies to everybody but you, because you're not drawing cards, you're looking at them and putting one into your hand. So you can see what everybody else has, what they are drawing, and a lot of times people will just spend their life away, but now they can't spend their life away on your cards. So the one downside of Zur's Weirding is taken away by Tomorrow. Of course, anything that can produce this type of discarding your hand and drawing cards, like the Archivist, the Windfall, the Tolaran Winds, and Plagiarize is it's just funny. I like it. I use Plagiarize in several decks, even ones that don't run the Possess Portal, simply because there's nothing cooler than that puzzle box. No, thank you. I'll draw those cards. And of course, Wheel and Deal. A lot of people don't know about the Wheel and Deal because a lot of people don't play it because it does not apply to you. But there again, it essentially is a mind twist for the table. It's really neat. Some other cards I've got to go in there. Of course, Spellbook. You don't want to have to discard a bunch of cards. Feldon's Cane, just in case. The Sad Robot. By the way, that was another invitational card, for those that don't know. The Elixir, for the same reason why we have the Feldon's Cane. Memory Jar. I'm surprised this is still even legal in EDH. I love it. I've loved the Memory Jar. I've played it for years. The ability to just play with a new hand that turn is outstanding. Vincer's Journal. Love that no-max hand size stuff. Like I said, Library of Ling. By the way, I think a Library of Ling is probably one of the better no-max hand size cards ever, because it lets you do things like discard to the top of your library, and just go check out the Oracle text on it. It's like crazy long, but it's really good. Obviously the Caged Sun, because we are running a monocolor deck. The Lightning Greaves to protect your Tomorrow. Protect your Tomorrow. That almost sounds like a slogan. We got some mana ramp here. Of course, the Thought Vessel, Prismatic, Here we're just going to grab a handful of these. Your standard, because your general does cost 6 mana, you need your standard complement of mana rocks to try to get this guy out pretty quick. We got some more. I consider the medallions mana rocks simply because they help every card in the deck. Preordain and Ponder, pretty much they're real close. Love the scry mechanic. Prophet of Kruphix. I'm running the Prophet over the Howling Mine simply because I want to get the first card draw. Yeah, that's a little greedy and you got to pay for it. But in this deck, it's all about the Future Sight, of course, Thought Reflection, Rhystic Study. Hey, that makes friends, right? You get so tired. Hey, you got to pay for that? You gonna pay for that? After a while, to most people, just say no. Just go ahead. Rhystic Study, I think one of the more underrated cards in the format. It's great, and it's common. Of course, Time Warp, because, you know, why not? You're playing blue. Time Reversal, Time Reversal is really good card because it does say, then each player draws 7 cards. So this can be the nail in the coffin. It really can. Similar to the puzzle box. Got this guy in here because he's really good. No other reason. Prosperity. Now keep in mind, this is a deck that it does take a while for you to do your part. I mean, not only are you going to have long turns, your responses on everything they do is going to be long. Mind's Aglow. Here's some more card draw. Of course, our pair of Jaces. Got to have Jace for card draw. Mind's Desire. Got to draw on Fascination. Now, High Tide. High Tide is another Fallen Empires card that I think is invaluable. It may be one of the best cards out of Fallen Empires, save him to Turok. But it's really good. A lot of people don't know the power of it. For one turn, you get double blue. Now, that's strong. That's strong in any color, but it's especially strong in blue. Got to have Mystical Tutor, just in case we don't get... Yeah. It's Mystical Tutor. It's good for anything. I like to go with Fabricate or... No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Frantic Search. Another good one. Especially if you're untapping a land that produces more than 1 mana. Say, Nykthos. Seems good. Evacuation. Because this is the closest thing we have to a board wipe. To save us just in case that strong aggro creature deck jumps out there. Desertion. I like Desertion. It's one I don't run a whole lot of counter spells, but I like the Desertion because of just, no, give me that, it's mine now. Capsize. I'm going to talk about the relationship between Cyclonic Rift and Capsize. Yes, Cyclonic Rift is the new version of... It seems like every time somebody casts a Cyclonic Rift, it is... People think it's just the worst thing ever, because nobody casts it, everybody overloads it, and that's what it's all about. It is one of the bigger douchebaggery cards ever, and a lot of people think that. However, those people have forgotten about Capsize. Capsize is amazing. It's been that way forever. It's totally broken. I love it. It is 6 mana to bounce a permanent, and let's face it, it's 6 mana. We're going to buy it back every single time. Now, however, there are ways around Capsize. And a lot of people don't know that. If you can make the targeted permanent go away for some reason while this is on the stack, this will be countered on resolution and will go to the graveyard and not back to their hand. You can bounce the permanent, destroy it, sack it, whatever you need to do. But a lot of times those states are hard to come by. Capsize, amazing. And nothing sucks worse than in a one-on-one player game, somebody just bouncing your land every turn. Oh, it's frustrating. Got to have the Brainstorm. Hurkyl's Recall is another card, because there are those decks, you know. Hurkyl's Recall is probably the biggest hate card I've ever seen. A lot of decks crutch on artifacts. I know a lot of mine do, and it's the ultimate feel-bad moment when somebody Hurkyl's Recalls you. Whispers of the Muse. Here again, it's not an exceptional card, but I think it's really good. Buy back reusable spells when you've had nothing else to do with your mana at the end of your opponent's turn. Hey, I'm going to draw a card. Seems good. Speaking of drawing cards, we got the Sturmgeist, of course. I don't have a whole lot of creatures here. The Eon Chronicler, obviously, because we like to draw, and he's big. Here again, like to draw. And the Labman. Just in case you get a little carried away with your card draw. Now, we got our special lands. Of course, Mystifying Maze. I really like the Mystifying Maze. Saves you from combat. Some Cycle Land. The Myriad Landscape. And, of course, the Reliquary Tower. Now, and then Thawing Glaciers. I don't know. I've just recently started this with the reserve list cards. Thawing Glaciers is an amazing card. I think they judge promoted it once. In the long game, if you can get this early, this can really, really ramp up your mana. It's in your deck. Thawing Glaciers, so good. Love them. And then, of course, we have your Myriad of Islands to go with all that. Now, I have had requests for deck lists, so I have actually posted this deck on Tapped Out. I will post the link to it in the bottom. Please give me comments, suggestions, tell me what you think, what you'd like to see. How's your Tomorrow deck different? Holler at me, let me know. And once again, we thank you for watching, and y'all have a good one now.